Hey guys, so Phoenix Spring Tarot here. Welcome. Right, so Tristan. Now I've done two readings on them. One was in February and the other was in April of last year. In both instances, when I did a reading on these two, the issue of pregnancy and legal paperwork around pregnancy came up. So what this is saying is that this was definitely, they couldn't avoid this. This was definitely in their timelines. It was destined. It was meant to be. Now, I did say, those who remember, I did say when I did this reading the last time that I was not going to do a reading on Khloe and Tristan again. Because what I was seeing was just a pattern of him cheating and cheating and cheating over and over and over again. Khloe doing this her usual thing where she puts the quotes up. She does the library performance on her Insta. She poses and shows off her body. And then behind the scenes, she gets back with him. Number one. Number two, I was also picking up a lot of low vibration energy between them. And whenever I did readings on them, I just found it really draining. So, and that low vibration comes from negative karmic cycles that they're involved in, both Tristy and Khloe. Of course, we don't need me to say that Stevie Wonder could see all of this. However, the reason why I thought that I would come back to this is that I was guided by my spirit guides to do this reading because they're saying that there is a lesson with regards to life lessons versus bad karma. There's a spiritual lesson that the rest of us as a collective could learn from this situation. So as we do tarot cards, we'll be picking up on what that spiritual lesson is. Another thing besides the spiritual lesson that I also found interesting about this is that with this latest round of chitation, we, because of the information that was leaked allegedly by Maralee, we don't know, we'll figure it out who leaked that information. We were able to peek behind the veil of ironclad NDAs and really witness the extent of bad behavior and the extent to which someone takes advantage of a power dynamic, someone takes advantage of their status, takes advantage of their position of power, allegedly, to submit someone of a lesser status to do their bidding. And the extent to which Tristan went through, which is the 75 grand for the abortion, claiming that he's not going to go around, he's not going to claim the child, her not getting money from him, even though at the moment, allegedly, he makes 9 million a year, only wanted to pay 75, and you just think to yourself, what sort of person is this? And the thing is, it's very interesting behind closed doors when you think the rest of the public is not going to be witness to that information, how you act. How you act when no one is looking. And that element of his character was something that I picked up in my last reading that I did 8 months ago with regards to him. Because he was coming up as a page. He was coming up as a page of Tristan, that is, was coming up as a page of wands, and he was coming up as a page of pentacles. Now, Tristan is a grown-ass man. Tristan I think he's 30 now, and he's coming up as a page. So what are pages? That is for those who are tuning in, and if you don't know what a page is, for those of you who know what pages are, just bear with me while I do this. This is going to be really important. I'm just going to find some pages here. Pages are court cards in tarot, and pages represent messengers, yes, and they also represent young children as well. They could also represent young children or young males, young females, but overall, when you see pages, so these are example of page cards. So as you can see, they're court cards, they're the lower rung of court cards. As you can see, they're quite young characters as depicted here. So pages could be children, pages are messengers, they're the start of something new. But when we are referring to a person, especially grown adults, especially from 30, even in your 20s onwards, if you're represented as a page, it represents something that's stinted, like stinted growth. Or it could also represent if you have issues or developmental issues. You know, so for instance, when I was doing the Hillsong readings, for instance, you remember that pastor who was Justin Bieber's pastor and that sort of thing, and he got caught out in terms of having multiple affairs. And with that pastor, for example, what came through was a page of wands. You know, someone who was, if you look at this wand, it looks like a stick, it looks like a phallic symbol. So someone who was just, you know, had sex on the brain, someone who was a sex addict, right? Someone who was very stinted in terms of their emotional growth and expression and evolution as a male in their sexuality, right? So that is an example of what came through for that Hillsong guy and Justin, in Hillsong guy, right? The pastor to Justin Bieber. For Tristan, he got, what was coming through 8 months ago when I did this was the page of wands and the page of pentacles. So what this was telling me was someone who was mainly concerned about the limelight. This person is all ego. This person is all about instant gratification. This person is all about, this person could even have like a sexual deviancy problem. They're just very immature and stinted in some way. And you really got to see that, particularly with the way allegedly, especially in the court papers and court documents, the way he was relating to Maralee. And as I said before, 8 months ago in that April reading, Tristan, and we all know this, Stevie Wonder knows this, everyone knows this, is someone who just absolutely at all does not take any responsibility, accountability, learning from lessons to make things right. This is someone who is bold, bold, bold. I don't like using terms like narcissist and that sort of thing, but this is the term that I'm being told in my ear. So what we're going to do, firstly, we're going to ask a range of questions. I don't want this reading to be too long, so I'll be going at a pace. This is not going to be a predictive reading, because if it's a predictive reading, it will just be too long. If I need to, I'll see if any predictions come through. But what we'll be doing in this reading is just looking at the current situation around Tristan, around Khloe. And I want to look at really quickly how Khloe, what's the situation between Khloe and Jordyn, and how Khloe feels towards Jordyn. And I think from there we will go into what spirit guides wanted me to do today, which is the spiritual lesson of life lessons versus bad karmic cycles, and how to know when you're in a bad karmic cycle. Okay. So, sorry, let me just focus on the question. So my question is, what is the current energy around Tristan Thompson? What is the current energy around Tristan Thompson, especially with this Maralee Nichols? Oh, yes. Payout time. I like that this card is saying that, remember when I was talking about that NDA, non-disclosure agreement, and how it really is, in this circumstance, it was an abuse of power, it was an abuse of status and so on. This is showing that the universe is coming in and recorrecting a situation, rebalancing a situation, especially when we're looking at the scales here, right? Things are being corrected, things are being rebalanced. Okay, what else is coming up here? What else in the current situation? Oh, God, these cards are flying. Hangman. So there's a point of stasis, or seeing things from a different perspective. Who is seeing things from a different perspective? Why is this Hangman here? Has someone woken up? Oh my God. Oh my God. Look at, oh my gosh, look at these cards. 5 of Pentacles, 5 of Swords. I'm picking up here that they have been, in terms of Maralee and Tristan, he has, number one, he has been in a doghouse for quite a while. I'm seeing this 5, so it could have been 5 months since the announcement. Things are at a stalemate between, I'm wondering whether this is between him and Khloe. But there is people, this Five of Swords talks about infighting, and it talks about arguments, it talks about conflict, especially conflict with regards to communication and words, and just people walking away with their heads hung low in disgust. Like Tristan is really in the doghouse. And we have a Nine of Swords here that's come through. This is depression, this is anxiety, this is shame. And if you look at the border of this bed as well, you see more infighting imprinted in the border here. This is really like a dark night of the soul, a darkness and shame and so on that's going on here. So that is, oops, where did I put this card? Oh no, I didn't mean to. Where did I put it? Okay, let's have this card out there. Right. So, yep, so that is what is. So this is the energy around Tristan. Now let's see who this energy relates or pertains to. Let's see who this energy relates or pertains to. You know, interestingly enough, what I'm picking up with this Five of Swords here, hang on, guys, just give me a minute. What I'm picking up with this Five of Swords here is that this pertains... Who does this pertain to? I'm picking up that this pertains to him, that this is Tristan here, who is feeling that there is some little, probably behind the scenes, there is some sort of battle which he feels that he's won and he's got the upper hand of. But not really. It's like a hollow victory of sorts. It's like he's going through trying to use mental strategy, and gaslighting is the word that's coming to mind, to get the upper hand on someone, and he's walking around as if he does have that upper hand. However, the situation around me with this Five of Pentacles and with this Nine of Swords here says he ain't have the upper hand of nothing. But there's a lot of shame. Someone is highly shamed and highly embarrassed here. But this is not feeling like Tristan's energy though. Tristan's energy is coming through as a defiant, someone being really, really defiant. But there's a lot of anxiety. There's a lot of shame. There's a lot of resignation that's around Tristan. But he's not acting as if he is the one who should be ashamed. That's what's confusing about this here. Okay, let's go on and let's see what else we get. What further information about the energy around Tristan Thompson? What further information do we have? Ha! What did I say about that Page of Pentacles? This is the reason why this guy's not feeling shamed. He still feels that there is some way to rescue this situation. This is exactly, guys, this is him. He has not changed. This is the energy that I was talking about. So look, you could have someone sitting up in bed, feeling shame, feeling anxiety. His back is completely turned to whoever is feeling that shame and anxiety. His back is completely turned and he's completely involved in himself. He is obsessed with himself. This is what I was saying. This is what I was saying at the very beginning. In my last two readings, he was coming out as a page. All he cares about is himself. All he cares about is saving face. And he still believes that he could make it out of this situation. Okay, let me just... He still believes he could still make it out of this situation. Like, I don't know how or why he would feel so, but, well, that's just... He still thinks he could come out of this smelling of roses. He really still feels that. Okay, what else could we tell us about the current situation around Tristan and this? Sun reversed. So the sun, look at Sun's, that's the baby, right? That's the baby that was just born, reversed. And it's coming just under the Six of Pentacles card. This is something that, now Sun is one of the best cards in the deck. So this is a beautiful thing, but he does not want this child. He doesn't want to claim the child. He doesn't want anything. I feel with him, with this Five of Swords, thinking that he's victorious over something. I think he, with that statement he made, now that a paternity test has been done, I will raise my child, blah, blah, blah. He thinks with that page that that statement was enough, but he doesn't want that child. That child's come through reverse. He doesn't want that child at all. And that is, okay, what else? What else do we have? What else? What else regarding this current situation? Oh, Seven of Pentacles. For 7 months, I feel they were trying with this Hangman for 7 months. There's something with this 7 and it being reversed. It's as if they were trying in vain to keep this under wraps and going back and forth in terms of money and giving money, but it didn't come through successfully. Okay, what about Khloe in all of this? What about Khloe? How does she feel? And yeah, this is what I mean. Like, they were trying for quite a while with this Hangman, Seven of Pentacles and Two of Pentacles. They were negotiating money for quite a while and trying to make a deal. They were really trying to make a deal with this Maralee. It's very interesting because we see Tristan, but we're not seeing Maralee or Khloe's energy anywhere near this. We're not seeing their energy at all. Someone didn't want to see something. Someone wanted to feign ignorance to something. Khloe's energy is not here. Khloe's energy is not here. I am not seeing any sign of her, except for this Two of Swords. Well, okay, thank you. What this is telling me is with this Two of Swords, and we have the World card under the deck. What this is telling me here with this Two of Swords, and the deck is actually quite sticky. What this is saying here with this Two of Swords is that there is someone who didn't want to see the situation for what it was. There was someone who wasn't shut down, who knew that they needed to make steps and say take particular action, but they wanted to feign ignorance. They didn't want to see anything, but their hearts were still shut down, right? Now, this is what I feel is that this is Khloe actually. And the reason why I say this is Khloe is that with this Five of Swords, this Five of Swords has come right under the Two of Swords. And this is what I'm saying. This represents someone who feels that they've gotten away with something and they're on top of the world, whereas people are walking away from him with disappointment and they can't be asked with him anymore. However, there is this person who's still staying put and still putting up with him and just being ignorant and just willingly going along with him. And I feel this is Khloe. And I feel this is why he thought that this is why he felt that he was confident, really, because as long as he has Khloe on side and Khloe in his pocket, he thought that he was doing fine. However, interestingly enough, and this makes sense. Notice that we have the Nine of Swords above the world. So remember I was telling about someone feeling shame, disappointment, anxiety, betrayal. That's come across under the world. So this is someone who feels that they're going through that in front of the world. So this is confirming to me that that is Khloe's energy. And again, like, look, we have right under the page, we have the Knight of Swords. So this is someone who is the Knight of Swords, Knight of Wands. Knight of Wands this is Tristan's energy as well. It talks about someone who just is very passionate. They just work on their instincts. This is what I said before with this page. They just work on instincts. They just go into situations that they don't really think things through. They don't think about anyone else's feelings. They just think about their own. Right, so this is coming through as Tristan, and again we have another page coming up towards the end, which is a surprise. This, to be fair on Khloe, I would say this, looking at this did catch her by surprise when it happened. It was a surprise to the fact that this Page of Cups with the fish jumping out, this is always news. Pages are messengers, as I said before, remember that. And this is news that someone didn't expect. So this was definitely saying that this whole pregnancy thing was unexpected, it was out of the blue and everything else. But the fact that we have the Page and the Knight is that this page, this surprise, this message that came out of the blue. Hang on. Oh, thank you. Sorry, my spirit guides are just correcting me. I had the wrong message before. What this is saying is that with the Page of Cups next to the World and the Knight of Wands, is that they did not expect this indiscretion to come out to the world. They did not expect that. That is what this is saying. They did not expect this indiscretion to come out to the world. He thought that, and that's another thing with this Two of Swords here as well. This is saying that Khloe was happy for him to gallivant and do whatever he wanted to do, play the field, do whatever it is. Just don't shame me. Just don't embarrass me, right? Keep it under wraps. Do your chittation without me knowing, right? So that is why she was willing to be ignorant, right? But he got sloppy. And this is where we have the Knight of Wands and the World. He just got really sloppy, and now his indiscretions has become public again, which is causing her shame. But with the Page of Cups, pages are messages, especially surprising messages. They did not expect this to get out. So this is why we have these cards here. Sorry, can't see everything. With the Sun and the Seven of Pentacles reverse, they were trying to keep this information under wraps as long as possible, as long as they could. Also, I'm being told here as well, a final message before I move on in terms of the current situation. What I'm feeling here is that with this Hangman and Seven of Pentacles, I'm being told the message that Tristan felt that he was really trying with Khloe, but with a lot of effort he was putting in with her, he wasn't getting much results, is what he was saying, or he wasn't getting what he wanted, which led to a state of restlessness. It led to him feeling like his ego being dented. He wasn't where he wanted to be with her. Like, it's as if he wanted things to immediately go back to normal. Now she did feature him on Keeping Up with the Kardashians, but in their final episode. But what this is saying here is as if probably after that it was either a false storyline, or they weren't really where they were portraying that they were. It's as if they weren't really there at the time that Tristan did the cheating. Okay, that also just came through. But what's coming through is that this guy has a complete no emotional intelligence whatsoever. It's just an energy where he is completely shut down. He doesn't really care, and he just doesn't think that he has done. Yeah, it's just nothing really glazes him. Things just run off him. It's just like, which is just wow. That emotional immaturity with Tristan just is not there whatsoever. Okay, now I want to go, I don't want this to be long, I want to go into more. We know how Khloe, I want to go into Khloe and Jordyn. I want to see what comes through with Khloe and Jordyn. That's what I want to look at right now. Like, does Khloe feel that she owes Jordyn an apology? Does Khloe feel shame? No, let's not do that. Let's not do that. Let's go into Khloe. I want to do a bit on Khloe, just how Khloe's feeling about all of this. I want to go into that. Let's focus on that first. How Khloe feels about all of this, and what are her immediate next steps. How does Khloe feel about all of this? Oh, She feels betrayed. She feels betrayed. She feels heartbroken. She feels stabbed in the back. Boom. She really does feel betrayed. She feels really, really hurt. She's not in a mentally good place at all. She is not in a mentally good place at all. She is not in a mentally good place at all. Guys, I am picking up that people have been saying that Khloe knew about this. I think for a certain period of time when it happened, she did not know. That's what's coming up here. This is Maralee, by the way, the pregnant person. What's coming through here with the Ten of Swords and the Four of Swords is that Khloe, with this Four of Swords, Khloe did not know that this situation was brooding. This Four of Swords talks about someone being taken out of the situation or being quiet or being out of the picture, and that's coming up next to Maralee. This pregnant woman is Maralee. It's coming up next to Maralee. This is talking about a pregnant, fertile woman, right? What's also I'm being told with this betrayal card here, there is a fertility issue also as well, which is a sting for Khloe, because Khloe has fertility issues, whereas this woman doesn't. I want to add the word clearly, but not because you just get pregnant once, it doesn't mean that. But yeah, the only, hang on, let me just focus on that message. She is really hurt. I think this really rubbed her a particular way. This really got to her a particular way. You know, seeing that she did not have a choice in who True's sibling would be. And especially as it was so easy for someone to get pregnant and she has fertility issues. Also, what I'm picking up with this Maralee card, when I was warming up for this reading and tuning into the energies, Maralee came up as this card again in my previous reading. What this is telling me is that Maralee, I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly. She's no shrinking. She's coming up with the King of Wands. She is a very mature energy, and she's no shrinking violet, this woman. This woman knows, she's very driven. She knows what she's about. She's not an easy walkover at all. This woman knows how to get what she wants. I'm not talking about it in terms of she entrapped Tristan or anything like that. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that usually, like, you know, when you have the NDAs and so on, you expect that to be enough to keep someone quiet. However, for Maralee in this case, she knew how to stand up for herself and how to get her justice, right? She knew what was due to her, and she knew how to go about working the system in order to get it. That is the thing that Tristan underestimated her, so to speak. That's what I'm getting at. Tristan underestimated this woman. So Khloe, I'm picking up here with the Four of Swords, in the very beginning, did not know about this because Tristan felt he could have managed the situation. So Tristan, he kept this a secret. Notice this person lying on the sword. You know, you die by the, what is it, die by the sword? Anyway, he's lying on a sword, meaning he kept it a secret from her. And that's where part of, it's number one, cheating behind her back. Number two, it's keeping it from her initially for at least the first 4 months or so, is what I'm picking up, before she eventually found out. And number three, notice the bodies are just stacking up of the number of times he's betrayed her. And we have 10 here. There are instances, and we know this, where he has betrayed her, where she has found out about it. It just hasn't reached the press. It just hasn't been released and in public knowledge. And this is something I also said in my other 2 readings, that in terms of him cheating on her, we don't even know the half of it. it's actually quite shameful. With this coming out, this is justice, this is retribution, this is karma. Your justice card is your karma card. Tristan messed with the wrong one, is what I'm picking up. And she is just ashamed and embarrassed. Look at this person, like she's just defeated. You can't even see her face. You can't even see her face. This is shame and embarrassment on all levels. It's for her daughter. It's for her family. What about this with Khloe and her embryos situation? Because I'm keeping up with the Kardashians finale. Oh. It was these embryos that she wanted to get fertilized, apparently. Or whether they're fertilized already. Are they? Okay, so we have the Seven of Wands, Pentacles, Six of Pentacles. Yeah, okay. I'll take these. Thank you very much. I will take these. She is fine and she is happy to raise this child by herself with the Hermit. She was just as shocked when this happened. She was just as shocked as well. But she is happy to raise this child on her own. This woman, and here we have the Strength card. This is what I'm saying. Tristan chose the wrong one. He really underestimated this woman. She has the Justice card. She knows her rights. Karma is on this woman's side, right? She was able to rise up and speak truth to power and not have them intimidate her. Right? But with this Six of Swords, she doesn't, this Maralee, she doesn't want any trouble. She's more than happy to go off, but she wants to go off with her just desserts. She wants to go off with what she knows she's due for her and her child. Right there. She wants to go off with her just desserts. She doesn't want any part of this circus. She wants to go off with her just desserts. Now, what this is saying, under the deck we have the Devil. What that is saying to me, I don't think Khloe is going to be leaving him so easy. I think she's wrapped. Yeah, I think she is chained to him for whatever reason. Call it selfish. I don't think she's going to leave him. Or she may come out and bring out a statement that she would leave him, but I don't think she's going to. For some reason, this is when you see the Devil appear like this, even though another deck we have the Knights, he's still going to come to her and try to woo her. When you see someone really hurt like this and you'd expect them to be done, there is still something to the core of her being that's just chained to this man. Something is just chained to this man. She's going to try to bat things off and save her face, but she may shut down for a little while, but she's chained to this man. Why is this? What is this hold that he has over her? Clarify this Devil when it comes to Khloe. What is this hold that Tristan... There we go. This is it. He's come up as the Page again. He has come up as the Page again. He has a good gaslighting game. What is this hold? Okay. So he knows how to do in the bedroom. Remember, I told you from before, guys, look at this. The Page of Pentacles, the Page of Wands, these two are his cards. She still wants to play happy families with him. She still wants to play happy families with this man. She has an ideal and an idea of what her family should be and what it ought to look like. And she wants to play happy families with this guy. What they'll be happy with is if this woman goes off, as she says she would go off, and everything dies down. And she would be, if this hadn't come out in the media and if it hadn't come out in the press, she would have still stayed with him. She definitely, you know, this wouldn't have fazed her. It's the fact that it became public that has embarrassed her. But if it wasn't made public, it would have annoyed her. She would have been disappointed, but not to the extent of the Ten of Swords, because this is a woman who has taken it from Tristan over and over and over and over again. But she still remains hooked to him. She still remains hooked. That is... Okay. So that is Khloe. What I want to go into, because I have Jordyn that I want to come into, there are certain cards that I'm going to pull from here which are quite significant in this reading that keep on coming up again and again. And that is the Page of Pentacles, we have the Ten of Swords, we have the Devil. And yeah. Yeah, they really didn't expect this. They didn't expect this. Oh, and a final message is, for a lot of the pregnancy, this Maralee, she really did it on her own. She really did it on her own, and she did not have any support from him when it went down and when it happened. Yeah, that's coming through as well. Okay. Yeah, this Maralee woman, she went through quite a tough night of the soul pregnancy. For this Maralee woman as well, her pregnancy was not easy, and she had no support from him. He is a real deadbeat. He is a real deadbeat. Okay. Now, what I want to talk about is what lessons we could learn from this, because usually when we do these things, it's very easy to get caught up in the salaciousness of these readings as to who's doing what and what's going to happen. But the reason why many times these things happen is that they're very useful life lessons, particularly spiritual lessons that we could gather from this. And this is why my spirit guides have asked me to do this again, even though we said that we would not. And one thing I wanted to... In fact, let's go into Jordyn, because I want to go into Jordyn because the Jordyn, Khloe and Tristan situation is what we can use to clearly define life lessons versus negative karmic cycles, okay? So I said I didn't want this to be long. I'm so sorry. Jordyn. So what's the energy around Jordyn, particularly when it comes to her sentiments regarding the Kardashians? Look, Jordyn is moved on from these people. Jordyn, because I was channeling Jordyn. This is a Five of Wands. Jordyn was able to see a lot of confusion, a lot of backbiting, a lot of, notice this person is falling, this other person is trying to pull this person down. They're all chasing that flame of status, of, yeah, just status. And there was a lot of infighting she witnessed. Jordyn, with this world card, she is living her best life. This is what I'm talking about when it comes to life lessons. When Jordyn said, one statement Jordyn made when she was on the Red Table Talk, she said, look, I do not need your situation, which is, and that was, when you look back, that was quite a few years ago now, that statement of, when she was talking about Khloe and saying, look, I don't need your situation, I'm not after Tristan. That statement really aged so well, because Jordyn, that was a loaded statement. Jordyn really knew what she was talking about when she said that. And what she was talking about was this. There was a lot of confusion, a lot of infighting. I'm even being shown an image in my mind's eye of whenever Tristan goes out, there's always needs to be a spy there, as people feeding back Khloe news as to what he's doing and who she's with. Like Khloe would have her spies around looking for Tristan, and these are people fighting over themselves to gain her favor. It's also the Kardashian clan as well, and this is coming up here from her. This is allegedly, and this is from Jordyn's perspective, a lot of infighting amongst them between people I'm not saying it's the Kardashians per se, but I'm seeing it in their group or people around them, in fighting and pulling each other down for status and backstabbing because they want favor with the Kardashians is what I'm pulling up here. So people would say stories, spy on people, deliver information. Yep, that is coming up as her having that tryst, having that fling with him. And notice her having that fling with him. That comes under the Justice card. And remember what I said earlier about that Justice card being karma. And under the Hermit, which is Dark Night of the Soul and life lessons, we have the Queen of Swords. So the Queen of Swords is someone who has grown, who has learned from their hardships, who is bossed up because of their hardships. And this swords, this is actually Jordyn's energy. And Jordyn is coming through as a queen. Jordyn is young. Jordyn is about, I believe, 13 years younger than Khloe. Jordyn is coming through as a queen. This is the extent to which Jordyn has leveled up because she did that Dark Night of the Soul on her own. She did that healing and Jordyn has leveled up. Thank you, Spirit Guides. Now I understand more why Spirit Guides wanted me to do this part of the reading. Like, could you imagine, like, Tristan is even older than Jordyn. Tristan is coming through as a page. He's coming through, like, completely obsessed with himself, obsessed with fame, not caring about anyone else, right? All about himself. Look at him just gazing at himself and his money and his status, right? Tristan is completely consumed with that. He's a child. Whereas you have a really evolved, whole woman, more mature than her years. Here. Even with the Maralee, Maralee was an Empress, which is a major arcana card. Up to now, we can't see Khloe's, we can't see Khloe's energy come through here at all, except as a Ten of Swords with her back turned to everyone. That's like Khloe's energy in all of this. Okay, I want one more card and then we'll go into, yeah. And again, for Jordyn, the Hermit has come through. They really shut that girl out. Jordyn, they really shut her out. And she had to be the magician in her own life. Interesting. And she's just looking on this situation from a distance. And she's just like, child, I do not need that. As she kept on saying, I do not need your situation. Yep. And again, she had her own tower moment with him. This is the thing. Okay, thank you. Now, this is going to be very important, guys. And this is the most important part of the reading. When we previously did this with Maralee's energy, she had the tower moment. It was a shock. With Jordyn also has a tower card, a shock. Meaning, I feel that with both these women, something that hasn't come through is that Tristan was the one to make the first move and advances on these women. And for both these women, it was a shock situation. I feel for both these women, he is the highest status. He has that power. He has that influence. He is the basketball star. And for both these women, what is coming through with these cards here is that neither of them expected it, and he used his status, position, and power to paint a world to these women or to take advantage of them. This is something that has come through, and both these women have had to suffer for it. Both these women, this was Maralee's card of what she went through during her pregnancy, which is her being completely alone and isolated, especially with that NDA, not being able to say anything. She really went through a dark night of the soul with this. And this is Jordyn's card, similar energy with the Hermit. Jordyn also went through a dark night of the soul after this situation. And I feel that this really, and I'm so glad my spirit guides wanted me to do it this way, because this is really how, because it's not, people just look at Tristan, oh, he's cheating on Khloe, rah, rah, rah. But it's the impact, how him using his position of power, him with his lack of emotional intelligence, him gaslighting and lying to these women, him gaslighting and also lying after the fact as well. has completely, with these Hermit cards energy, has completely destroyed these women. However, this is what I wanted to bring up about karma, life lessons on karma. So in Jordyn's situation, okay, let me start from the beginning. So usually before, if you believe in reincarnation and so on, before we start this life, there are certain events, life events, major life events, which are landmarks in our life trajectory that we want to experience, and we have agreed that we want to experience in order to learn life lessons and in order to evolve as divine spiritual beings. Okay, so when it comes to these life lessons, you, with all these souls, will come together and agree to form this contract before we reincarnate, right? So when you go through an experience, whether it's viewed as a good experience, whether it's viewed as a bad experience, we classify it as good and bad because that's the way in this 3D environment we make sense of things. But from these events, we take responsibility, take accountability, we learn and experience ourselves and understand what make ourselves tick. We learn, we incorporate those lessons into ourselves, and then we carry on with those lessons and we apply those lessons for the rest of our lives. Okay? So this is why it's really interesting with Jordyn when we have the Lovers card, because this is her and Tristan, and this is her after that experience, her gaining that wisdom, her taking that responsibility, taking that accountability, right? And her leveling up. This, when you see the World card talks about the end of a cycle. It's the end of the major arcana card. When you see the Centenarian ring, it's you passing from one phase of your life into another. You've learned your lesson, you've leveling up, you're leaving things behind, and you're moving on to your next phase. If you look at Jordyn, and what I think is really interesting about what happened at the time with Jordyn was quite young at the time. I think she was 19 or 20. This is 19 or 20 compared at the time to Tristan's 26, compared at the time to Khloe's 33, roughly, give or take a couple of years, but that's how old they were. She was the youngest amongst all of them. And she was also quite a young and sheltered 20-something-year-old. You could tell from her, like, she wasn't one to be, dropping out of the clubs, and you didn't see that with Jordyn at that time. So she was not like a loose 20-something-year-old. I get the impression that she was quite a sheltered 20-something-year-old when this happened. But for Jordyn, this was a life lesson which she learned, and she's been able to glow up ever since. Like, she's been able to gain a lot of strength of knowledge, emotional strength, spiritual strength, even physical strength. Like, she's very grounded in her body, and that's what this strength card shows. She's become a magician as well, because 21, this is the end. 0, this is the end. The magician is number 1. So this is her starting her new cycle. She is creating, using that knowledge that she gained from this experience. This is her learning her life lessons and creating her own reality. So this is someone elevating and moving on. And that is what learning a life lesson looks like. So what we as the general collective were able to observe in this situation was Jordyn walking through a life lesson and giving us a demonstration of what it's like to learn, grow, and evolve from what could be viewed as a bad situation. Now, I am not condoning what Jordyn did. I'm not saying that what Jordyn did was right or anything like that. I am not. What I'm saying is, from what these cards are saying, she was taking accountability. She was taking responsibility for this situation. And this is her being triumphant. This is her learning her lessons and really expanding as a person. She has her partner now, and her partner is also a basketball player. They've been together for a long time. He brought her a car for Christmas, and they seem very solid. And what I think is interesting about that is something that Khloe has not been able to achieve. So let's look at Khloe's cards. And this is an example of what being caught up in a negative, bad, well, not a negative, but a bad karma looks like, right? So let's bring Khloe's cards through, and we will do some more for, we'll shuffle some more for Khloe as I go through this. Okay, so we have Jordyn below, we have Khloe on top. So for Khloe, in terms of her experience with Tristan, so notice how these cards are aligning, right? So with Tristan, he's coming up as a page of pentacles for Khloe. You know, he is able to gaslight her. He's able to blow smoke up her. You know what? He was cheating. He was like, look, he's a lover's card with. So there wasn't a discretion going on, like a night of passion, whatever going on. And I feel it was more than Jordyn was saying it was. To get this lover's card like that, it was more than Jordyn said it was. I would give Khloe that. That's what this card is saying, right? But the thing is with Khloe is that she is caught in a negative in a bad karmic cycle, and that's what this looks like. Notice her chain. This is a female, this is a male. She's chained to this person. This is a cycle that she just can't seem to get out of. And the reason why I say it's a bad karmic cycle, it's karma, because we have the Justice card. Both of them, Khloe and Tristan, have a karmic connection with each other. It is karmic. And until both of them could learn their lesson, and I feel more Khloe, they are going to keep on having these tower moments. They're going to keep on having these tower moments. The Hermit talks about the dark night of the soul. The Hermit talks about when disaster strikes, like a tower moment. It's going on that journey to reflect on the reason why it happened. It's going on a journey to take responsibility, be accountable, make your apologies, give your forgiveness, and being able to grow and evolve. This is evidence. This is what the cards look like when someone does it, which is what Jordyn has done. You have the World, you have the Magician, you have the Queen of Swords, you have Strength card, you have Three of Wands, planning and looking forward into the future. You're riding the wave on your surfboard of life with fire and passion. That is what leveling up looks like. But Khloe seems to be caught in a pattern, and she seems to be caught in a rut with this guy of this bad karma, this bad karmic cycle. And look at this, how many times has she gone through this? She's embarrassed, she goes back with him, something happens, they separate for a little while, they come back together, something happens again. This is literally the trajectory of their relationship, and it's happened up to 10 times with Khloe already. Would they ever break out of this? Would they ever learn their lessons from this negative cycle? Is this the straw that broke the camel's back? Because 10 is the end of the minor arcana as well. So 10s talk about endings. And you could see the dark lifting. Like this is sort of a veil that blinds you lifting. And you see the gold light on the horizon, talking about a new dawn and a new start. Let's see if Khloe could break this bad karma. Let's see. I did say I didn't want this to be too long, but I felt that it was really important for us to look at life lessons versus bad karma. I felt it was really, really important. Okay. Ooh. Okay. Khloe is strong. She has a strength in her own right. She does. There is an insecurity with Khloe. Oh, for goodness sake. There is an insecurity with Khloe from her youth. You could see it there. There's an insecurity from her youth. Now, we could see these siblings here in this card. And this Six of Cups always talks about the past or past experiences. There is something from her past, whether it's her comparing herself to her siblings or some other situation that happened in her past that we don't know about, but there's something from her past that she's a slave to, that Khloe needs to heal. And until she heals that, and this strength card talks about healing that situation. She is strong, and this shows that she is getting there. It's just taken the girl quite a long time. She is very obsessed with, you see this person holding the world? This person is obsessed with how people view them, how people perceive them, what people think of them. That is what drives her. And until she is able to resolve that, because that is coming next to the Justice card. So she's obsessed with what people think about her, how people perceive her. And until she could heal that and know that she matters, and it's not really a matter of doing things for other people, she will continue going through this negative karmic cycle. Let me see whether I could... yeah, there we go. See? This is someone who's trying to do something, but they're not succeeding. And this is Khloe with this negative karmic cycle, with this bad karma. She's going through it again and again and again, and she's trying to get out of it. But the girl is... I don't know whether she does counseling or whether she does therapy, but this is something that she needs. It's as if Khloe looks at other things and she works on other things in order to get that validation. So with this Seven of Pentacles, this shows someone who works very hard. So it tells me that Khloe is, she's hardworking. And she has everything in her life in place, but she's still not happy, and she's still not getting the regard and recognition and that just deserts that she feels she ought to get. And this for her is coming under the Hermit card, right? So she's getting the... So for Khloe's energy in terms of this bad karma and negative karmic cycle that she's in, she has the Seven of Pentacles and the Hermit. So this tells me that she's trying... But look at this guy's, look at the expression on this guy's face. He's just like, she's in a bad cycle, like Khloe just doesn't get it, is what is coming through here. Like, it's coming through that she's very strong, she's very powerful. There's a lot of strength here and a lot of other areas of her life. But it's as if it's in this one area, this one little pentacle, she can't get it. And it's something to do with her past and growing up and some conditioning that she got when she was growing up that she can't seem to heal. What else about Khloe in this negative karmic cycle? Ooh, we have the Death card. I like seeing this. Death talks about endings and new beginnings. So what this is telling me is, especially with the Death card for Khloe coming next to this tower, this is a very, very good omen. It's as if she would get it. She would get it. She would get it soon. It's going to be inevitable. But she is going to get it, and she is going to evolve out of this negative karmic cycle. That's what this is saying. It's as if, notice that with this Death card, notice that sun coming up in the background. That's what I'm being drawn to. Something is going to be revealed to her. She's going to have an aha moment when she's going to see something for what it is. You know what I want to know? Does she have those eggs that she's frozen? Are they fertilized with Tristan's sperm, by the way? That's what I want to know. Because there's this Seven of Pentacles talks about a stuck energy here. And Pentacles reminds me of eggs. Sorry, that's just the way my mind works. I'm just looking at the symbology of it. And I'm just wondering whether... Ooh, Four of Pentacles. How many eggs does she have set aside with this guy? Are they fertilized yet? Oh, they're not telling me. They're not giving me the answer on that. But whatever it is, something regarding that is in stasis, it's on hold. I'm being told that some process around that is on hold. But he's still going to try to woo her though. Oh God, they're a mess. Any last words on, what is any final words for the immediate future? Do I need to get another deck? Let me see if I pick up anything on the immediate future and what may be coming up. Let's see. The immediate future. I didn't want this. I wanted this to be a current energy read, but let's just see if we get anything. Let's just see if we get anything. Nothing much. Child underneath the deck. I'm telling you, you can't make this stuff up. I'm wondering whether Maralee had a bad I'm wondering what her pregnancy was like, actually. But putting that to one side, I think Khloe here with sudden wealth and privilege lady, I feel that she is just going to be ignoring this child's situation. Child despair. There's a lot of change. That's what I was picking up with that stasis card. Something is on hold between them. But anyway, this is not telling me much. I feel that Khloe has some business stuff in the works that she is going to come out with. As we have sudden wealth there, either she's expanding into a new business or she's signing some other deal. One thing with Khloe, this is what I'm saying about the strength card, like she has a lot of really good stuff going with her, and one thing she doesn't, her money and her business still keeps on ticking. That's one thing with Khloe. But I could see with this bad health card that there is something about depression or something about mental anxiety or something along those lines that's coming through, or someone had a bad health episode. It could be Maralee as well, you know, after giving birth and so on. Yep, so either seeing a medical professional, that's coming through. And I think what's also coming through as well with this expectation card is that a lot of people are, she feels the burden, Khloe, of people expecting her to do the right thing. You know, especially with this community card here, people expecting her to do the right thing, which is really putting her in a corner and putting pressure on her, because that's not what she wants to do. Besides that, I'm not picking up anything else. Yep, he's still going to try and woo her and come back to her. We saw that with his grand display and his apology on his Instagram. So we've seen that already. But he's going to try to want to get back into her good books, that's for sure. Could this Knight of Cups be someone else? Could Khloe step out with someone else? Okay. This is saying that she's open to it. This is saying that she's open to someone else. Like with this Ten of Wands, she's tired of that burden. She could very well be open to someone else. She could very well be open to someone else and making that work. Yep, yep. Oh, I like this. Yep. With the Judgment card, and we have the Ace of Swords. Ace of Swords means new beginning. She has two aces on the board. She could very well be, yep, my girl could actually be, yep, moving on. That seems to be on the cards. We will see. We will see. But there appears to be, with that 10, with these two aces, and with that 10 of wands, we have two tens. But there's always going, but it's going to take a while. I have to say, it's going to take a while is what I'm picking up with Khloe. Because there is still this, but she needs to heal this. But it looks as though she will be moving on. Like she is finally beginning to wake up. I feel that there's also some other news that we may not be privy to that could potentially come through. That's going to be the nail in the coffin for her when it comes to Tristan. But with these two aces, it feels as if there is some moving on, or there's some new start, a new beginning with Khloe on the cards. For Khloe on the cards, rather. Okay, I'm so sorry guys, this was so long, but I will try to put my timestamps on here to save you guys so you know where to go to for this reading. Thank you so much for your patience, and I really hope that you found the life lessons versus bad karma and negative karmic cycles. I hope you found that lesson useful as it pertains to Khloe, Tristan and Jordyn. And I will see you guys in future readings. Okay, bye for now.